lying to me. She's lying to you, the public.
To the race for who will represent OU's campus in the State House.
Really about getting that one-to-one endorsement from the voter.
I'm going to be that candidate that fights to protect their life, liberty, and property.
We bring you every angle covering education.
Critical race theory is an elective that is taught in college.
We don't want kids to have access to pornography in schools.
To abortion.
It is a states' rights issue.
And uncovering what matters most on our campus.
There is such a women's rights issue going on in the state of Oklahoma. They're being threatened.
This is OU Nightly, Election 2022.
Thank you for sticking with us.
We have new numbers for the Oklahoma State governor's race.
The numbers are quickly rolling in for Oklahoma's governor. The state election board says 35% of all precincts are reporting tonight.
Incumbent Governor Gavin Stitt has taken the lead from Democratic candidate Joy Hoffmeister. Stitt is over 10 points ahead of Hoffmeister. And with that news, let's check in with OU Nightly's Dakota McDowell-Wapakichi at Governor Stitt's watch party to tell us more what the mood is like. Dakota?
Yeah, right now inside this Embassy Suites, it's super loud. There's a lot of people. They were really excited after Senator Lankford won. They weren't really shocked by that, but it was super loud and they were very proud. Now, right now, Governor Stitt is in the lead with 25% of the precincts reporting. So hopefully in a little bit, we'll get a little bit more information for you. And whenever he comes out, we'll get that for you. Reporting from the Embassy Suites, Dakota McDowell-Wapakichi, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Dakota. And now let's check in with Joy Hoffmeister's watch party. OU Nightly's Cameron Joyner is there. Cameron?
Yeah, guys, Joy Hoffmeister supporters are still here. They're still anxiously awaiting those numbers to keep coming in and for those results to eventually be called. You can see behind me people are hanging out, eating, drinking, just chatting and waiting for those results to come in. This crowd stretches all the way around the room to back behind our camera over here. Hoffmeister has still yet to arrive. I've spoken with her campaign team. She is off-site, enjoying this time with her family and her friends. She will make an appearance later. That time is still undetermined. But as of right now, this room is just anxiously awaiting those results to continue to roll in and keeping a close eye on those numbers as they're being reported. Reporting from the Oklahoma History Center, Cameron Joyner.
Thank you, Cameron. Looking at the numbers on the race for state superintendent, here's the latest.
As of now, Ryan Walters is leading with 55%.
Gina Nelson is trailing with 45%.
Numbers are still coming in and we'll continue bringing you updates as we receive them.
And as we told you earlier tonight, the Associated Press is predicting both of Oklahoma's Senate races will go to Republicans. James Lankford is projected to keep his seat, again according to the Associated Press.
The AP is also projecting that Markwayne Mullin will win the race. And now an update on Oklahoma's 4th district in the United States House. Incumbent Representative Tom Cole holds a steady lead over Democratic challenger Mary Brannon. With 29% of the vote reporting, Representative Cole is optimistic about his party's results in tonight's races.
I think Republicans are going to have a very good night in Oklahoma at the state level. I think we'll win every statewide off. Federally, it's an unusual election. We don't usually have 2 United States Senate candidates on the ballot at the same time, but I think James Lankford will win re-election easily. I think Markwayne Mullin will take the open seat pretty easily. And then
we have another update on the Texas governor race. Let's head over to the newsroom. OU Nightly's Bailey Coyle is live with the latest numbers. Bailey?
Yeah, incumbent Governor Greg Abbott is now leading the Texas governor race by 4 points. Abbott is currently at 42% of the votes, and Beto O'Rourke is trailing with 46.6% of the votes. Dana Addy, back to you.
Thank you, Bailey, and thank you guys for sticking with us.
We'll be back at 8:30 live on Facebook and Cox Cable.
OU's campus in the State House.
Really about getting that one-to-one endorsement from the voter.
I'm going to be that candidate that fights to protect their life, liberty, and property.
We bring you every angle covering education.
Critical race theory is an elective that is taught in college.
We don't want kids to have access to pornography in schools.
To abortion.
It is a states' rights issue.
and uncovering what matters most on our campus.
There is such a women's rights issue going on in the state of Oklahoma. They're being threatened.
This is OU Nightly, Election 2022.
Welcome back to OU Nightly's special election coverage.
We begin with updated numbers for the race for Oklahoma's governor. 85% of the votes are in for the state of Oklahoma. We want to give you an update on where those numbers are standing.
Governor Kevin Stitt retains his lead over Democrat Joy Hoffmeister. He is still 16 points ahead of Hoffmeister. And with that update, let's check in with OU Nightly's Dakota McDowell Wapakichi at Governor Stitt's watch party in Oklahoma City. Dakota?
Well, right now inside the NBC Suites Hotel, it's gotten a lot louder. Kevin Stitt's campaign managers just came by a little bit ago, and we talked about how NBC News actually reported that Governor Kevin Stitt won his re-election, but not everybody has said that just yet. Right now, the Oklahoma County numbers are still coming in, whereas the rest of the state has pretty much, a majority of it has been reported. About 10 minutes ago, Oklahoma County was about 50% reported, but just about a minute ago, it was at 85% of the precincts reported. It's a really close race right now with that county, but a lot of the numbers are going toward Kevin Stitt's way. If Kevin Stitt hits the stage anytime soon, we'll bring that to you. Reporting from the NBC Suites in Oklahoma City, Dakota McDowell Wapakichi, OU Nightly.
Thank you for that, Dakota. Now let's go back to Cameron Joyner, who is live at Joy Hoffmeister's watch party. Cameron?
Yeah, guys, out here at the Oklahoma History Center, the vibe is still bustling and people are still hanging out and talking despite Kevin Stitt being squarely in the lead at the moment. With the way that the polls are looking right now, those votes are still coming in, and the voters that I've talked to and the supporters here say that it's not over until it's over, and that seems to be the general consensus here, although her campaign team has paused interviews at the moment, and it seems like most of them have cleared out of the room. All of the supporters are still here, as you can see behind me. Everyone is still here watching in anticipation for those votes to continue rolling in. We did get word that Joy Hoffmeister is on her way here now. We will be staying and we will be bringing coverage of the speech that she gives and how she's feeling about the way that these numbers are rolling in. And like these voters said, it isn't over till it's over, so we will continue to bring these numbers to you. Reporting live from the Oklahoma History Center, Cameron Joyner, OU Nightly.
Thank you, Cameron. Now let's check in with OU Nightly's Coy Taylor. He is live again in the newsroom with national updates. Coy?
Thanks, Addie. We are watching some key races across the U.S. right now at this hour that's going to decide the balance of power in the Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives. But first, we'll start off with some governor's races. The Kansas governor's race, let's get a look at that. Our neighbors to the north here in Oklahoma, and Democrat Laura Kelly still holding on to a lead there with 60% of the vote for her over what would be current Attorney General of the state of Kansas, Derek Schmidt. He's about 38% of the votes. And let's move on to some what would be congressional races. First, the Virginia 2nd District. Here we have incumbent Lane Lauria in what would be the seat there against what would be challenger Jen Kiggins. Kiggins leading with about 55% of the votes tallied so far to Lane Lauria's 45%. And this is a key race, a kind of a bellwether district in southwest or eastern Virginia, including Norfolk, where we have a naval base, U.S. naval base there, and Lauria, the incumbent, served on the January 6th committee. So this is kind of a bellwether district, and if this district turns Republican, this looks like a pickup for the Republicans, and it looks like we could be riding a little bit of a red wave as we go throughout the evening, but this race still too close to call as we head past the what would be 9 p.m. hour here in the Central Time Zone. Let's move on to some key Senate races. We jump up to New Hampshire. Right now, incumbent Maggie Hassan will be served as governor before winning election in 2016 to Senate. She's up for re-election this year, and right now a slim lead, about 56% of the vote going to her, to Don Bolduc, a Army veteran, I should say. 42% of the vote for him will be Republicans. Saw this race as some building momentum in the final weeks as polls tightened. Maggie Hassan and the Democrats hoping to hold on to this seat and hold on to at least some control of the U.S. Senate as we go. So we move to Pennsylvania. This seat, no incumbent in this race, but we are monitoring John Fetterman, the current lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania, has a slim lead, 53% of the vote to him, a little bit under 1 million votes for him to 44% for television Dr. Mehmet Oz. And this race, no incumbent in the race because the senator for this race is retiring, Pat Toomey, calling it quits, a Republican. So if the Democrats can pick up this, they have some options open for at least keeping control of the Senate. And we move to Georgia. This seat, Democrats didn't look so good in the final weeks, but Republicans saw momentum in Georgia, and they are writing that right now. Herschel Walker, with the tally votes that we have counted, with just under 50%. And reminder, the Georgia Senate race, and if no candidate reaches above that majority 50% mark, I should say, then this heads to a runoff on December 2nd, which is close to the SEC championship game. So many Georgians, if they're watching the Georgia Bulldogs, who look like they are going to win the East, the SEC East, headed to that SEC championship game, could be flooded with some more political ads, just what they want down there in Georgia. And let's take a final look at the Senate balance of power map, as we've had some what would be key polling or key states closing their polls on the West Coast here over the next couple of hours, but still polling opening in California as well as Hawaii. Democrats still hold a slight majority, but still a lot of seats to call, as we do have open polls in the West and still some races on the East Coast too close to call. That's the latest from right here in the newsroom. Let's send it back to the studio. Addie?
Thanks, Coy. We have the latest numbers for the candidates running for the United States Senate seats in Oklahoma.
Incumbent Republican James Lankford is projected to retain his seat in the U.S. Senate. He is currently leading challenger Madison Horn by 35 points.
And Markwayne Mullin is projected to take over retiring Senator Jim Inhofe's seat in the U.S. Senate. He currently leads Democratic opponent Kendra Horn by nearly 30 points.
And now we're going to check in over at Jaden Brannon. She is with the Democratic candidates for Oklahoma State House here in Norman, live at Blackbird on Campus Corner. Jaden, what can you tell us that's going on out there?
That's right, guys. I'm still here at Blackbird on Campus Corner. Spirits are high. I've gotten to talk to some of the supporters that have ended up here, and they say that they were cautiously optimistic, and many of them were right to do so. We just found out that all three House District candidates, Jacob Rosecrans, Annie Mins, and Jared Deck, have all won their elections. Each just gave their speech, and they are so appreciative of all the support that they've had from volunteers, family, and so on. Spirits continue to be high in the room, and there's still a party going on. They're just still mingling with their supporters and just having a great rest of their night. People are they're starting to leave as they still see some election results coming in from across the state and across the country that don't seem to be the results that they wish for, but they're still satisfied with what they saw here tonight at Blackbird. Reporting live from Campus Corner, Jaden Brannon, OU Nightly.
Now let's take one last look at the latest numbers for the state superintendent race.
87% of the votes are with Ryan Walters, leading with 58%. He is currently 16 points ahead of Gina Nelson. OU Nightly's Olivia Daig is at Gina Nelson's watch party. Let's check back in with her to see what the mood is like. Olivia?
Guys, the vibe in here is still very positive as the crowd has thinned out just a little bit. They've pumped the music back up in here, trying to keep spirits high in the wake of these poll numbers coming in, seeing Nelson in the we were able to speak to Nelson's campaign manager, who says if she wins, she's going to hit the ground running tomorrow. If she doesn't win, he said he can't speak for her, but he imagines she'll still want to fight for Oklahoma teachers and students in the education field. Reporting live from OKC, Olivia Daig, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Olivia. And now let's go right to the newsroom with Bailey Coyle, who has an update on our Texas governor's race. Bailey?
Thanks, Dana. I have the governor poll race update. The current Governor Stitt, is currently in the lead with 55% of the votes, with Beto O'Rourke following with 45% of those votes. Back to you.
Thanks, Bailey, and thank you guys for Thank you guys for joining us tonight for the special election coverage.
We're broadcasting live from Gaylord College of Journalism and Mass Communication on the campus of the University of Oklahoma.
Thank you for watching, and we hope you have a good night.